If you were to go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, when you were starting from zero, what's the best advice you would give to your younger self?
If a bird lands on the branch, does the bird trust the branch or does it trust its wings? And the clue, I've seen many birds land on branches, but what I've never seen is a branch break and the bird fall and die. Trust your wings.
But if you want to be part of that 1%, which I know all of you want to be, I'm sorry to say, you got to throw that balanced shit in the wind.
The mindset of a winner, which is a winner does more than expected every single time, no matter how they feel, no matter the circumstances.
Imagine you talk to the creator of the universe before birth and pick the person you get to become. You say, I want to be the most courageous. The creator replies and says, well, then I will give you monsters to terrify you so that you can conquer them. And you say, well, I want to be patient. The creator replies, well, then I will make you work harder and longer so you can learn to wait. So then you say, I want to be wise. And the creator replies, then I will give you failures that will crush your spirit so you can learn the value of judgment. You then say, sounds like a rough life. Can you give me a good life? The creator replies, just like we measure the quality of a blacksmith by the strength of his steel, I measure you by what you are at the end, not the fire and the hammer it took to make you. A good life isn't a life that's easy. A good life is a life that makes you into a good person. And that, my son, is a hard life.
I'd rather go too far than not far enough. The only reward that you get from taking it easy is the fact that in the moment, it's easier.
Big dreams create big action, which create big results. And little dreams create little action, which creates a little bitty life that we end up regretting.
I don't look at failure as failure. I look at failure as your first, second, third, fourth, fifth attempt. I look at them as attempts. I don't look at anything as failure. Because when you're going to try to do something, not trying is failure.
If you didn't withdraw in fear from anything, from everything that life threw at you, who could you become?
When it feels scary to jump, Ian, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life. And that I can't do.
That work, the work you know you should be doing but aren't, is the opportunity, because that is the work that your competitors also aren't doing. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my soul, it is so easy to beat people today. They are so soft. They have no work ethic. No one can stick with anything. Everyone's distracted. They're on social media. They're counting their fucking notifications because they can't stick with shit. They can't say no.
But when you're able to go out there, there is no failure. It's attempts. Because when you're trying to do something that's bigger than you, whatever you are, if you're paralyzed, you're trying to walk one step and you didn't fail, motherfucker. That was your first attempt. If that's your biggest thing, that's how your mindset needs to go into everything. So I don't look at it as failure is a big word that gets people down and shit. We give so much power to words. I take the power right away. I didn't fail shit.
Are more things thrown at us than we can manage? And you might say, well, that's just presents an insuperable barrier to progress. That's not very helpful because you're alive, here you are, you got these problems to contend with, and if it's an impossible task, then how could you be anything but hopeless and desperate? How would things transform if I took this on as a voluntary adventure, regardless of its scope? And the scope would include unjust suffering, death, and hell.
But if you want results and then you basically just catch yourself slacking off and don't do anything about it, then it kind of sounds like you don't really want those results, you know?
A winner shows up 10x times more than the average person. A winner has these unreasonable expectations of himself. A winner knows that he's destined for greatness. And no matter how many people around him tell him to slow down, be careful, watch out, that's too risky. You don't have the genetics, the DNA, the money, the mind, the brain power for that. A winner locks onto their fucking goals and keeps going. That's what the winner does.
When you start to build yourself up, and start to have the one thing that we don't have is confidence.
Yep.
Real, authentic confidence from hard work. Everything else goes away. You no longer look to other people for your self-esteem.
Validation.
That's right.
Yeah.
You now know. I walk in a room now and I know the hours and years and decades I put into David Goggins.
Nobody is motivated at 4 a.m. Nobody. But some people are up anyway. You're praying for an easy way out. I don't fucking want one. Because if there is an easy way out, yeah, I'll win. But other people will win who I don't think deserve to win. Luckily, in my experience on this earth, the universe has never, I've ever seen, ever given an easy way out to anybody. So I don't believe it's fucking coming. I don't want there to be ladders. You're praying for a ladder. I don't want them. I don't want easy wins. I want to have to wake up every day and grind out and become richer than everyone else because I work harder than everyone else and I try harder than everyone else. I don't want any easy ways out. The idea of that aggravates me. I don't want to feel motivated. I want to feel tired and stressed. I want to run on pure discipline and adrenaline.
Everybody else quits when things get hard. Everybody else quits when they get sick or they have an excuse or they get in a funk or they get, whatever. If you're able to operate even when things are hard, you can't be fucked with.
I look at myself as a seeker. I seek, I understand in order to be a master, you have to be a fool at first. And I'm willing, but not many people are willing to go through that journey of being a fool. They want to be the master, but don't want to work through the process.
When your friends start to say, you've changed, remember, it's because they don't know how to say, you've grown.
What would I do if I weren't afraid? And what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? And the idea that I will never wish for fewer epic stories at the end of my life. And I've never regretted failures. I've always regretted things that I didn't try. And so just along those lines of trying to create more bias internally towards action rather than inaction, and normalizing consequences of failure as we said earlier, win or learn.
Being uncommon amongst uncommon, it's really about yourself. It's you against yourself. It's not you against them. Once you become a Navy SEAL or whatever you become, a big CEO, you're now common again. So everybody looks at these guys as uncommon. But once you become one, we're all guys again. So how do you separate yourself from the best? You're gonna piss some people off when you do that.
You're called upon to bring your best to the table no matter what happens. And to maintain your faith. Your past trauma.
One law that I would highlight is interaction with boldness. And what I mean by that is, if you're feeling timid, if you're feeling that you're not confident in something, you will start a project and it will fail because you feel that way, because you don't enter into it with the right energy.
If you want to get somewhere specific, then you better take control of the wheel and you better drive that car where you want it to go. Grab the steering wheel and drive your life where you want it to be. Do not just let things happen. You have to be default aggressive and make things happen.
Of talent and a bit of consistency and a good work ethic will put you so much further ahead of everybody else. So many people are prepared to give up at doing a thing because they haven't had immediate rewards. So if you can find a thing which to you feels like play, but to everybody else looks like work, you will absolutely annihilate them. And it won't feel like you're using any willpower.
So if you take something and you do something boldly, everybody loves the bold, everybody admires it. Even if it's stupid, even if it fails, it will gain you that kind of attention.
Go after your dreams, right? Go after it. I never compromised that. I never allowed anybody to tell me what I was capable of accomplishing. I never let anybody tell me that I can't do, right? I went after it. If you want to accomplish something or do something that a lot of people think is difficult to accomplish, you have to put all your eggs in one basket, and there's no compromise.
Your dreams and thoughts better be so big that they better scare you. They better scare you.
Why?
Because you're not thinking big enough then. You don't want it. It has to be something that nobody else has thought about before or done before.
Ultimately, happiness comes down to choosing between the discomfort of becoming aware of our mental afflictions and the discomfort of becoming ruled by them.
It's crazy how large the perceived monsters can appear. Fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so you look at it, it looks like this ocean, and then you take the first step and you realize you don't drown, because it's like, oh, there's ground underneath of this, right? There's other people who are more on my path, and the friends you lose, you gain new friends. That fear was the hardest decision that I've had to overcome in my entrepreneurial career. And I think of all the split paths in my life, that was the one that if I had many timelines or many universes that existed, that was probably the one that is the most likely that I would not have parted from.
Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before. You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb.
And throughout that process of going, whether you're building a business, you're building a family, you're building your body, you're whatever it is that you're doing, I'm telling you right now, man, as a winner, 80% of the time, you're going to feel like you're failing. 15% of the time, you're going to feel like you're just treading water. You just got your nose above the water line. 4% of the time, you feel like it's fucking over. This is it. I'm about to tap out, but you don't, because that 1% of the time, my friend, that 1% of the time is when you know you're winning. And you go, I'm going to take these 1%ers, I'm going to stack them and stack them and stack them and stack them. And you know what happens when you stack winning over years and decades? You become a fucking formidable force to be reckoned with.
The biggest risk to your future isn't your competition. It's the distractions you insist on keeping in your life rather than doing the things you know you should be doing but aren't. People delay doing things they don't like for longer than it takes to do them.
You're exactly where you wish to be in life. Even if you think you are not happy where you are, I can promise you are. Because if you're truly uncomfortable, you can't even sleep. If I put you on spikes, you can't lay down. You only lay down even if you're semi-comfortable. I want you to understand at home, whether you're successful or unsuccessful, you wish to be where you are. So you're as big as you wish to be, you're as rich as you wish to be, you live where you wish to live. Because truthfully, when you wish for something with all of your heart, never in history has the universe or God failed to give it to you. Anything you've ever truly wished for in your entire life, you have gotten 100% of the time.
There is not a single person who has ever achieved anything that you want to achieve has felt like it every single day. It's hard. It's frustrating. There's things that are going to happen. You're going to get punched in the face. You're going to get sick. You're going to have breakups. You're going to have people let you down. You're going to have people steal from you. You're going to have friends let you down. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to make mistakes. And everybody's going to see it and laugh at you. All of these things are going to happen. You have to build yourself into someone who can continue to execute regardless of what's happening around you. And if you can do that, it doesn't matter what's happening around you.
You know, when you go through a phase in your life where nothing's going your way, your own family doesn't believe in you, they're saying things behind your back, your friends are like, that guy's not going to do anything. And it's just annoyingly challenging. And some people spread rumors about you. He's all about this, she's all about this. And you're like, oh my God, this sucks, but that's not true. If you think you want to get to the next level of whatever life may be, there are levels to this game. You got to get battle tested. You, whatever phase you're in, whatever things you're going through, that doesn't make sense. If you graduate this next phase of being battle tested, there's good things around the corner for you.
You once wanted the life you have, and if you don't like the life you have, you probably won't like the one you want, but don't have either.
You're always afraid to take the first step because all you see is every negative thing 10 miles down the road. But you can do anything you want. You are bound by nothing.
It doesn't matter if they're laughing. It doesn't matter if they're making fun. It doesn't matter if the weather's bad. It doesn't fucking matter if you keep executing, because eventually you will find yourself in the place you set out to be.
So many people want to project their idea of what they think your life should be like onto you. And it's just completely irrelevant. It just doesn't matter. I fundamentally am like, you are going to die and you're not going to matter. And I'm going to die and I'm not going to matter. So why do I care about what you're going to say when you're not even going to show up to my funeral?
People are so terrified of failure that they don't even stop to think that, oh, if I could just not worry about embarrassing myself, then I could get in the game, throw the punches, look foolish, but I will get better and better.
Let me show you something about yourself. For all the bad days you've ever had, for every day that you thought you wasn't gonna get through, for every period in your life you did not see no way you could come out on the other side, your track record for surviving them bad days is 100%. You have survived every single one of them.
The bad days create the story that I'm one day going to tell myself about what I got through. Without the bad days, the story would be way more lame. There would be no glory in overcoming anything, because what did you overcome?
Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. I think unbecoming is the greatest form of growth. You're always unbecoming. You're doing more unbecoming than becoming. Along the journey of development, along the journey of accomplishment, right? You're always unbecoming.
You see this guy here staring back at you? That's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against. I believe that in boxing, and I do believe that in life.
At some point, everything's going to go south on you. Everything's going to go south, and you're going to say, this is it. This is how I end. Now, you can either accept that, or you can get to work. That's all it is. You just begin. You do the math. You solve one problem, then you solve the next.
This challenge that you're going through is a gift to your future self. It is something that in future you will look back on with so much pride and glory, this odd sort of very normal version of glory. You didn't win a battle, you didn't complete a war, you didn't conquer some new land, but you conquered a part of yourself. You conquered a challenge that may have ended you in one form or another. It may have buried you. And if your negativity that you're thinking about now doesn't matter in 3 months' time, you can't recall it, why waste the moments that you've got, this sort of precious life, this brief sliver of existence in between two eternities of nothing? You're not going to have a perfectly smooth ocean.
I mean, it sucks. Every time I do it, I'm like, don't do it. Don't. There's like the part of me that's like my inner bitch. It's like, oh, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. But luckily, the general is stronger than the inner bitch. The general is always telling, shut the fuck up and get in in there, and I just get in there every day. That inner bitch is always talking, though. He never shuts up. Never shuts up. Don't ever think that it, like, even though I do it every day, anybody who's like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how I do it either, but I fucking do it. I make sure I do it. I'm the boss.
If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you're fucked. You got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
Adversity makes the strong stronger, the weak weaker. We need adversity in our life. We need to be competitive to enhance the world. There's no good, there's no bad, it's just how you perspective. Whatever you believe is true.
Losers stay losers by never being willing to lose. Everyone loses before they win. Everyone falls the first time. Your first business is very unlikely to be your last business. The first product you have will be a product that you'll be embarrassed of years from now. But what's important is having the product, getting the product, building the product, launching the product, shooting the shot.
Nobody knows me. Nobody really knows me. They have assumptions of me, but nobody really knows me, and that is in my favor.
You have to perform when you feel bad. As a man, you can't say, I will perform when I feel good. It doesn't work that way, because our heads are too complicated and life's too complicated. There's too much on our shoulders, and we have too much stress and too much pressure. Our heads are fucked. You have to be the kind of person who says, I perform regardless. I didn't miss a single day's training. I didn't miss a please. I didn't miss a thank you. I'm not saying I was happy. I'm saying I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
I think the thing that people misunderstand about success is they're looking for the easiest way to get there.
If you think about the difference between winners and losers, winners define themselves by what they made happen, and losers define themselves by what happened to them. And the difficult part of the lonely chapter is that the Rocky cutscene lasts 90 seconds in the movie and lasts 5 years in reality.
With no promise of it ever ending. No guarantee of glory.
Man, you gonna get what's coming to you. You gonna get what's for you, man. You don't have to want what anybody else has. Right. You don't have to envy it, be mad about it, wish for it. What God got for you, you gonna get it. Now, you might can prolong it, trying to orchestrate and control the situation and the narrative on your own. But I feel as if what's destined for me, the Creator gonna give it to me. But rejection may be a part of that.
The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
If you go visit the darkness that you've been running from, you'll have the opportunity to leave a better person. You'll have a better understanding of yourself. You'll have a better understanding of your purpose. But if you don't take that trip and the darkness comes visits you, it's a guest that will never leave.
Everything that's happening to you is God is processing you. Every difficult moment you're having, He just processing. That's all He's doing. Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then He gonna toughen you. If you gotta be more caring along the way, He gonna let you have some trials come your way that's gonna have to produce that in you.
When I was in my 20s, I wanted to be a millionaire. And when I was a millionaire, I wanted to be in my 20s. The idea that my future self would trade all the money he had to be poor in 20 again made me really reanalyze how I saw living life in the moment. If I literally in the future will value my present moment more than the achievement of the thing that I'm seeking right now in the present, then something's off.
A lot of this isn't your fault, why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where the shit started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you.
The whole world is in chess. Any move can be the death of you. Do anything except remain where you started and you cannot be sure of your end.